Hello, and thanks for joining us on Movie Night Memories. You Must Remember This, a podcast that focuses on movies and our favorite memories of them. Each week we discuss the films that are celebrating an anniversary from when they came out in theaters. My name is Sword Alexander, and I'm joined by the inspiration of this podcast, my mom, Tracy.
Good evening, everybody.
This week we're talking about movies released between January 19th through the 25th. We have Fandango, Prefontaine, and A Walk to Remember. I've never seen Fandango before.
Well, I was so happy when this movie came across. Finally, I've been telling you for a long time that Fandango was one of my favorite movies for Kevin Costner, or if not the best Kevin Costner movie I felt.
And that's saying something because he's been in some... He's not really my favorite actor, but he's really been in some good stuff. He's not somebody I really appreciate and enjoy watching too much, but there are some films that I really appreciate in him that he's done. Robin Hood, Something of Thieves. Now I'm just losing the title in my head, but the Robin Hood film, I thought he was very good in it, all things considered.
Thieves.
Prince of Thieves?
I think it's Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, maybe it's Prince of Thieves. But, you know, he's a very dry actor. He's very, very dry.
But he was very popular in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And then became very popular lately in all these westerns on TV. You know,
So being able
Yellowstone.
So being able to see him so mellowed out in this film was really special. This movie celebrating a 41st anniversary. It was released on January 25th, 1985. It was directed by Kevin Reynolds, who also did Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and it was written by him too. So this must have been some sort of passion project. It's about 5 college graduates from Austin, Texas, who go on a road trip for one last ride with the boys before the real world hits them. This takes place around the time that the Vietnam War is starting its draft. So boys are getting drafted into the war.
The Vietnam War wasn't starting to draft. No, this was in 1971. So they were already drafting, okay? So they've been drafting since the 60s.
Oh, okay.
So this was in the prime at the end of the war, actually. But this scenario, they were being drafted into the Vietnam War.
And this wasn't just a situation that you've lived through this.
Yes. Yes, my brother was going to be drafted into the war, we thought. Possibly. My oldest brother, Danny. And so he missed it like by 2 numbers. And because we had discussed, when I say we, my family had discussed taking him to Canada because he didn't believe in the war, in Vietnam War. And we were from a family of going to war for centuries. But they didn't believe in the Vietnam War. And after what happened with Japan and what those soldiers suffered, and hearing all the suffering going on in Vietnam, my mother did not want Danny to go to Vietnam. She said he would be tortured to death. And she was not going to have him tortured to death in Vietnam.
So this movie really made a number and showed the truth, I guess. A bit of a nostalgic trip because it came out in 85 about these boys and what they were going through. And this is also about...
But it wasn't about Vietnam, really. It was about them and their last hurrah after they graduated from college. But 2 of the boys were being drafted to go to war.
Yes, because according to, in the movie, their letters, like their draft letters were delayed because they were finishing school. And then as soon as they graduated, they were being asked to go in. Like their draft numbers were already called, but they were in school.
And they were exempt from the draft.
So now they have to go in. They're scheduled to go to this one place and go to get on the buses and start getting into it.
And one of the boys it was his duty. He was going to go. But the other 2,
they definitely didn't believe in it.
Yeah, no. And they were making hints that they were going to dodge the draft and go to Canada.
So the movie,
or Mexico.
The movie stars 5 boys. One of them is Kevin Costner. When I say boys, they're all in their 20s at least. But they're still boys around this time. One of them's Kevin Costner, and the other one is Judd Nelson.
And you don't recognize him.
No, Judd Nelson, in case you don't know, played Bender in The Breakfast Club. So he was that was his big breakout role, but he was also extremely good in this film as well. It took place right before Breakfast Club got released, because I think Breakfast Club got released in March of 1985. and he was really great in it. The other three characters, the actors are pretty unknown, and we really don't see too much of them after this film as well. But I mean, they were still very good in it. I mean, they were fine in it, really. There was the one guy who was going to get married, and then he changed his mind because he's getting drafted. He doesn't want his fiance to go through it, go through the idea of dealing with him going into war and everything, and it's very conflicted.
And not being able to come back.
Yeah, so it's a feel good, buddy road trip movie, but that has some pretty ridiculous situations in it as well.
It's a last hurrah road trip.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great of college buddies.
It reminds me a little bit of Vacation with the scenarios they get put into and put themselves into. And at times I did think it dragged a little bit, but at the end of the day, I like the story it was telling, and
It had tons of surprises.
It did.
It had tons of surprises.
It did. I really enjoyed the scene where they went to the airfield to do those flight lessons, and that was
flight lesson.
Like flight lesson, like they were going to do like a skydiving lesson, and I was really taken aback by the reaction to it, without going into spoilers about what they had to do in those situations during that lesson process.
The whole thing was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It puts you on the edge of your seat.
It does.
It puts you on the edge of your seat. Absolutely.
Everything looks so real, like as if it was all done in real time and authentic. And I was very much impressed by it. And without going into spoilers with the ending, I really was impressed with the ending most of all. I said to you as soon as the ending was over, I said, that's one of the best endings I've ever seen in a film. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and I saw the film at home. It was like some rainy afternoon, and I was by myself, and it was a perfect time to watch a film like this and go, wow, where did this film come from? Why haven't I ever heard of this film? I was like, am I having a dream? Wow. I had never heard of it, never thought. It was like, am I dreaming? This is such a great film. And it was before Google, so you couldn't Google it. And I was like, what?
I don't think this movie, the website Fandango got the name from the movie, but because, the word Fandango means like a celebratory dance of some kind. But it's funny that when I think of Fandango, I think of that website. And now I'm thinking, is that where the movie came from? Because the movie, is that where it came from first? But who knows? But
what would you give it?
I would give it a 3.5. I would usually give it a 3, but I really did enjoy that ending. I think it really brought everything home and put together my middling feelings about it, because I was on the fence about I enjoyed it. I just didn't care enough to probably want to see it again, but I think the ending really brought it home for me.
Well, when I first saw it back in 1985, 86, whenever I saw it, whenever it got released on TV and streaming, and it wasn't streaming then, it was on TV. I would have said a 5. I was so high on that movie. I was telling everybody about it. Mm-hmm. I would say, have you ever heard of it? Nobody had ever heard of it. Everybody thought I was crazy. I'd made some movies up about this movie. Nobody had ever heard of it.
How do you feel about it now since you've rewatched it?
4.5. I still love it.
So what brought down the half star?
Because I'm comparing it from 40 years ago to movies now. But the shots are still great. It just doesn't have the quality. But it still holds up. But it still doesn't have some things. I noticed some details, like, I don't like the girl. I think they could have gotten a prettier girl to be the love interest. There's just some things that I would have done differently in the film. That now that I've seen it twice, years ago. But this was my third time. But I saw some more details that I would have done differently. There's some crassness in it. There's some ballsy crassness, but they had to be ballsy crassness because they were college students.
Right.
Anyway, but that's me.
The movie ended up having a budget of, I think it was $7 million. Yeah, and it made $99,000 in the box office.
They did not I'm telling you.
No, they didn't advertise.
I think you researched that. You think there was some controversy.
There was some kind of controversy with the way the film was being told. This movie was picked up by Steven Spielberg because he really liked it. He really liked the premise of it, and he really wanted to explore it. And from the research I was able to do on it, it seems that Kevin Reynolds and Steven Spielberg had a bit of a spat on how the movie was going to go. I think there was a confusion on what the premise and the goal of the film, and by the time it released, it just didn't really work out in either of them's favor, and I don't believe it was going to end up being released in the way that, like, put in a way that both of their visions didn't see it. I think Kevin Reynolds' vision came to life, but Steven Spielberg didn't like that vision, didn't like how kind of some things kind of went. There was clearly some kind of disconnect with communication, and Kevin Reynolds does not look back fondly on this movie because of his conflict with Steven Spielberg and the producers of this film. And I think it's almost like I think that the movie was released so lowly with only a couple of theaters coming out just to spite Kevin Reynolds and the team, which really puts a bad taste in my mouth, because this movie does deserve to make its money back. It's a real shame that it didn't, because no movie deserves a $99,000 box office release when it had a $7 million budget. That's just sad.
There's something somebody's trying to say, I'll get you back for this.
Yeah, and it's a real shame, but it has definitely attained more of a cult status to it, that people talk about it more often than not, and it deserves to be talked about, especially because it just celebrated a 40th anniversary, and now this year it's going to be its 41st.
Well, it was a really highly on my list. I still think it's one of the best, if not the best, Kim Costner movie.
Yeah, I think if it was released today, it would have probably made its money back, maybe doubled it probably. I don't think it would have been a giant hit the way that some other movies do. But
today it would have cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. But even though at the end of the day it's just 5 guys in a car, and the plane alone, the plane jurisdiction, everything alone would have been a lot of money too. But what are you gonna do?
I loved that movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I can watch it a couple more times probably.
And here comes a film that took my heart and soul.
Yep, next up we have Prefontaine, released January 24th, 1997. That's going to be celebrating a 29th anniversary, so very close to the 30th. It was directed by Steve James, and it was also written by him, along with Eugene Core. The life and accomplishments of Steve Prefontaine, a record-breaking long-distance runner, is told in this biopic. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what the movie's about?
Well, it's about the famous runner Prefontaine, and he was famous back in 1972. He was from Oregon, and he was an amazing runner during the Olympics, and he changed Olympic rules, and he changed team rules for the United States, and I think nationally or internationally.
It did for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I said for the Olympics, but also national for teams and things like that, and competing. And he died, sadly, in a car accident.
Mm-hmm. He died pretty young. He died at, I think, 32, I believe.
I think he was younger than that.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit younger.
I thought he was 26 or 27,
yeah.
Sword.
It's a real shame that he died in a drunk driving accident. It definitely could have been prevented, but
the beauty of this film is how they made it like a documentary in a way, but at the same time, Jared Leto, one of my favorite actors of all time, captured Prefontaine, Steve Prefontaine, so wonderfully, and really immersed himself in the role.
I thought it was really excellent, and he was praised quite a bit when the film first came out too. Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert, they praised it. They gave it 2 thumbs up, and they praised his performance and like the way they also shot the film as a documentary. So they also shared your sentiment in that it was shot like a documentary, and they appreciated it too. Also starring in the movie, there is R. Lee Ermey, who famously played the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket, and he was a real drill sergeant as well. That's what inspired him to be a part of that film, is that he was a real drill sergeant. He improvised all of his lines when that movie was being made. And Ed O'Neill, which, who doesn't know who Ed O'Neill is? Married with Children, Modern Family, everything in between.
And amazing actor, and he was really good in it. He played his coach, right? He was one of his coaches.
Yeah, it was like the assistant coach. And I really did appreciate the way the film was shot. It felt like a documentary. The way they shot it and made it, even though it was on DVD, but it looks like it could have been coming out this year with the way they did the experiments with cinematography, and they really made us feel like we were watching somebody run, not just run for real, but seeing his story come to life. And it's a very serious story, not just about him, but about his reaction to how some terrible tragedies happened at the Olympics. There was this horrible,
Terrorism.
this horrible terrorism that took
Munich.
place in Munich. You remember seeing it on TV, didn't you?
I sure did. I was 8 or 9 years old. It was 72. I was 9. So I remember it, and I didn't know how serious what happened with the helicopter and all that until this movie. So they must have hid it from me. But I do remember that they had some Arabs had taken Israeli Olympic athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that, and it was horrible. It was shocking, and it was sad because I was looking forward to the Olympics and wanted to see the gymnasts and everything and the runners, and it was really emphasis on running that year. I remember, and it was shocking the terrorism that was happening, but I didn't know it was so deadly. I had no idea. They must have hit it.
I really like the way they shot it, and they showed the people's reactions to the events that were happening right next to the building that they were in. Being able to see, Prefontaine himself, or they called him Pre, being able to watch him, you could see in his eyes what he was feeling, and that what it was leading to, and the uncertainty. It really felt like you were there, watching it happen in real time as well.
And they showed how where they had put up the Olympic athletes in these rooms that were not unfinished.
It was terrible. There was no beds really. It was like a small, flimsy, nothing mattress, and that's it. Like they treated them like garbage.
And the rooms were unfinished. They didn't even have drywall on the walls.
Nowadays that's still kind of the case with the Olympics, where they give them very minimalist rooms, and they give them beds that are specifically designed not to have two people be able to lay on them at the same time because they don't want them sleeping together. And it shows to me like that's pretty inhumane, where you have such control over these athletes and these people. I don't want to get into the politics of all of it or anything. I just think it's stupid. At the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're all adults. And to be able to try to force people into these little boxes, it's inhumane. It simply is.
Well, I want to get back to the movie. There were actual footage from Steve Prefontaine running, and he looks so much like Jared. And Jared doesn't look anything really like him, but he made himself look like him. It's just amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this was back in the early 70s, late 60s. I couldn't believe how they captured that in this film.
You can tell how much work he put into trying to really recreate that record-breaking runner and try to run as fast as him and as skillfully as him, that recreating that vision, that goal of being able to run as far and run as fast as he did. It was very impressive.
And that coach was one of the founders of Nike.
Yep. Arlie Ermey's character, he's one of the founders of Nike. Bowerman, I think.
Bowerman or something like that. He was one of the early founders of the Nike shoe.
Yep.
And he made it for Prefontaine.
Yep.
So he'd have a light shoe.
Yeah, he was a regular shoemaker. He would make shoes with waffle irons to make the treads.
And to be made out of one fabric.
Yeah.
To be light and be easy on the foot.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. But I really enjoy it. It's probably my third time watching this movie, and I still really enjoy watching it and seeing it come to life. And it tells a very decent story, and it doesn't try to get involved with love and drama and not too many politics of it too. It doesn't try and take too much away from what his goal, like what Pre's goal in life is, and how his life affected the world around him and vice versa. It really just told a story of a man who was trying to do a good thing, not just for himself, but for others too. And I really admire what they did to make it like a documentary, and they made it feel like that too.
Yeah, I think he was only 26 when he died, Sword.
Yeah. So.
He ran. Another message was that he was really small. He was really built small. But he wanted to be successful as an athlete so bad that it didn't matter how little he was going to be the best at running. And he showed them. He showed them. His heart was full. He had such a mission, and that was really the message of Pre. And they had T-shirts that said "Stop Pre," and he put it on, even though he won. He put it on "Stop Pre."
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that Jared did that movie. He was tremendous. I'll never forget it, as long as I live.
So what would you give it out of 5 stars?
I give it a 10,000 stars.
Well, I wish more people felt that way because it had an $8 million budget and it only made $500,000 in the box office.
It wasn't advertised. I didn't see that movie till 2006 or 7.
This is funny because it's another...
I couldn't find this film.
These
it took me forever to find the film.
Well, this and Fandango both came out the same week, respectively, and they pretty much did the same amount of money as they did when they first came out. 2, very excellent films that were praised at that time, but were not talked about at all. It's a real shame. So, anyway, I would probably give it 4 stars. I believe that there are some things that could have been adjusted and fixed a little bit. I would have liked to have seen a little more maybe from his parents, I guess. I just kind of want to see a little bit more from his childhood. And, gosh, the scene at the end, like with his death and everything, that was so raw and so real. It was incredible. But I do believe that it was really a triumph in and of itself. And, yeah, I would give it 4. I think it was good. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, they can only put so much in one 2-hour movie. Mm-hmm. And this was a lot of a story. There was so much story to put in.
The music was great, too. They had great music in this. It's a great soundtrack.
It'd have to be a miniseries, so...
Oh, yeah, I believe that, too.
And this is another interesting fact. There's another movie called Prefontaine by another actor within, I think, a year.
Billy Crudup. Yeah, he played...
Is it within a year or the same year? I think
it was within a year.
So don't you look at that one. This is the one to watch.
Mm-hmm. So we have one more movie to talk about this week. We saw A Walk to Remember. It was released January 25th, 2002. It was directed by Adam Shankman, who later on did Hairspray, the film adaptation of the musical, and written by Karen Jansen. This is an adaptation of the Nicholas Sparks book of the same name. It's about a popular high school kid from a broken home and a reckless attitude who begins to fall in love with a humble, optimistic church girl, creating tension among friends and family alike. So this book, I did a little research on it too, because I was really curious, like why, especially after watching the movie, because I had some things to say about the movie. I wouldn't say negative, but very constructive things about to say about the movie and how they did some things with it too. I found out that this book was written because Nicholas Sparks' real sister died of cancer, and that's how this movie ends. So he was inspired by his sister that he loved very dearly to make a story that was about her. So I felt a little bit less needy to be constructive about this film because it's a very personal story from somebody's life and a real person and what they had to deal with and go through as well. But I will say that I don't think very too particularly well of the film, but I have to acknowledge that I like that's a real personal story that affected somebody and he wanted to make sure that, his personal life ended up being brought into the public in a way that he was able to do some sort of legacy for somebody he truly loved and appreciated. Yeah,
I think we were laughing at the title.
Yeah, because this probably was missed because they didn't explain it in the movie, but they probably explained it in the book. But the movie's called A Walk to Remember.
I think it's a deeper meaning. It means like your life. Like
maybe you're taking a walk in the part of your life that's worth remembering. Yes, but they don't. There's no literalness of it. It's very symbolic. But I can't think of a moment where you could even symbolize a walk to remember.
If this is about his sister, they make it more like it's a teenage movie to learn lessons.
Like this is A Fault in Our Stars before A Fault in Our Stars.
Explain what that is.
A Fault in Our Stars was also a movie about a terminally ill person falling in love with another person as well. And it was a big young adult teen hit, and it was massive. It was a massive success back in 2018. Around that same time. So it's a similar
storyline.
Yes, except obviously this came out way before.
A Fault in Our Stars.
Yes.
Similar storyline, but it came out later, 18 years later.
Yes.
And 16 years later.
So this movie is celebrating its 24th anniversary. It stars Shane West and Mandy Moore. Shane West we know from ER. He was one of the doctors in ER in the later seasons. And then Mandy Moore, Mandy Moore, in so many great things.
Yeah, but recently she was in We Are Us.
This Is Us.
This Is Us. This is Us.
She was the mom in This Is Us. It features Peter Coyote and Daryl Hannah, which we kind of made fun of the entire time.
Don't. Did you snort?
Yes. I'm still laughing at her. Daryl Hannah, I'm sorry.
She looks very...
She does not look good in bangs. I gotta tell you.
She's got dark hair. She's got black, dark hair. And she looks very manly.
It was very difficult to watch this movie without laughing sometimes.
She looks like one of the Jenners.
Yes. And look, the movie itself is fine. It's a teen heartthrob, it's a teen drama. It's something that's, you just watch, maybe even in the background. You don't take that seriously, even though it's a very personal story. And I was just coasting through it. I was not having the best time watching it because it's cheesy and it's like crazy in its own way. I was very surprised that Nicholas Sparks wrote this. This man is supposed to be a genius.
It's based on the book. It's not I don't think it's everything exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely based on the book. I don't know how much they changed about it, but the movie as
it's like
it was,
they made it to what they wanted the screen to show. I don't think I've never read the book, so I don't know.
So one big change they made, and it's something worth acknowledging at least, is that they changed the setting from the 1950s to the 1990s.
Oh, that's a big change.
It is. They specifically changed it that way more people would relate to it.
Of course.
And, I guess that makes sense. I don't think it made too much of a difference at the end of the day when it comes to telling the story, but... it is something worth acknowledging, too, that it had a drastic change in theme and setting.
Well, they just modernized it.
Essentially, yes, they did. But, it's just a sappy, corny, silly, teen heartthrob kind of movie. It's about finding love in unexpected places, and don't let the decisions you make now affect your life in the future. Live every day like it's your last, because that's kind of what the movie's about. In a literal sense too. I was coasting through this thing. I really was like, oh, this is fine. There were some things I really did not like about the movie, like little details and things that bothered me. But it wasn't.
I'm telling you, it's a movie to teach teenagers about life.
Yes.
Bullying. It has so many messages to teenagers.
Yeah, it's got some serious bullying messages that it wants to talk about.
From the very first scene.
Yes, absolutely. Like some serious stuff.
Very first scene.
Yeah.
And that guy was in the hospital for weeks, and we don't know why.
No, yeah, he ended up with a broken arm, and he had a concussion. Sure, he had to have been there for a couple days.
But for weeks?
What did they do to that kid? What did they do?
Well, that kid, he milked it. He milked it.
Oh, my insurance. So this is how we can laugh at this, because it's just the kind of movie it was. It was okay. I really don't have much more to say about it, except the actors were fine.
And her clothing, Mandy Moore's clothing, I couldn't stand. I was dying. I'm like, what is going on? She looks like she's part of a
convent?
A cult.
Well, that's what her dad wanted to be.
No, he was... I don't even... Come on.
I thought that was the thing that bothered me the most about the movie.
When I would love to do a skit,
I have a point.
Where he bought her a sweater like she stank. She wore the same green ugly sweater, and he bought her a pink new sweater
because she never washed it.
And
No, but here's the point I'm making here. This was a serious thing that I thought about after the big reveal is that she has cancer and that she's going to die soon. The big reveal being. So after the big reveal, I thought, wait a minute. The entire time the father of Mandy Moore's father is a reverend, he's a preacher, he's always gung-ho, like, I don't want you to date any man or anything like that. I don't want you to date and have a good time or anything.
Don't even look at it.
But yeah, even he knows she's going to die soon. She's never going to, he doesn't want her to have her first kiss. He doesn't want her to fall in love. He doesn't want anything because he wants to save her from the pain of having to lose that person and vice versa. And I'm thinking to myself, that is the stupidest, dumbest thing in the world. At the end of the day, she's going to die. She might as well enjoy her life. Well, I'm not saying join the motorcycle club or anything, but do something with your life.
No, he gives her away.
Yes, which is giving her a telescope and letting her build her own telescope so she can watch the stars.
She was peeking at the other neighbors.
Yes, that's what it says. She's the town peeping Tom. That's what she was
Peeping
doing.
Thomasina.
Oh, God. She was the
No,
real...
no, they're going to really watch the movie and something like that.
No.
No, she's not a Thomasina.
She's the quintessentially perfect girl. Like she is so perfect. There's not a single thing wrong with her.
But she's really cute in it. She is really cute in it.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny that it's like, okay, it's sweet, but then when you go back and look at it, Shane West is 24 at this point and she's 16. So you see there's a bit of an age gap when they're doing that best kiss scene. The scene that won them an MTV Movie Award for best, like, our hottest kiss or something like that.
Oh, you looked that up?
I did look it up, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I want to see what awards it won, and it won a few awards. One of them was
gosh.
like best kiss or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And he's 24 and she's 16.
So, that's not...
I just thought it was funny. God. It's great. So, I don't know. I give this like a 3.
I give it a 2.5. Just for the... I like Mandy Moore and I like him, but I told you they look like brother and sister.
Yes. I don't see it, but oh
my God, they look like brother and sister.
But you know what? Everybody's different. They see things differently.
Oh my God, they look like brother and sister.
That's why I didn't want them to get together.
Yeah, that's what I told you. I said...
Oh man.
Oh my God.
That was fun. All right, well, this was a good time. This is a very interesting week. We have some more exciting movies to talk about next week, but thank you all so much for listening. You have anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, that's about it.
Sounds great.
Stay warm.
I'm gonna go take a walk to remember.